As you watch the sun rise, you grant yourself a few minutes of reprieve after the night's adventure. Beoul stands with arms folded. Without his mace, he's not quite sure what to do with his hands. "And now what will become of the palace and its inhabitants?" you ask. "Nothing much," Beoul replies. "They'll put another in his place. Biz never stops, even with the best times. Business never stops, and their ties run deep. Noble houses, military contacts, even the clergy is entangled. In fact, I'd wager the replacement is already on the road. Garak was only a fixer and a traitor." He lowers his gaze, then adds, "As for me, I have urgent affairs in the city. After that, perhaps, I'll go back to my homeland." "One last thing," he says, turning just slightly before setting off. Garak kept trinkets of every kind on him and flaunted them often, but the things he cherished most he kept in his room. There he kept his journals as well. "I saw him writing constantly when he traded his wares, when he studied his experiments. You might get something out of them." You clasp hands warmly, parting like accomplices who've earned each other's respect. "You're a man of worth," you tell him. "Perhaps the first I'd hesitate to challenge to a duel. I couldn't say which of us would win." He holds your gaze with a daring smile and a tilt of the head. Your first stop on your return is the Thieves Temple. You walk slowly between the columns of the central chamber. Candles and incense steep the air in a dense, smoky perfume. Your steps ring on the floor as you brood over what has happened. Garak's death has given a name to the true hand in the shadows, a formidable enemy who has now set eyes on you. From hunter, you've become prey. You no longer seek merely clues to unravel a mystery. You seek an opening to save your skin, by fleeing or by striking before the enemy does. You reach the goddess's altar, a slender figure, her head veiled in a mesh of fine golden threads, one hand raised to the sky. You let a coin fall as an offering. You know being seen here is risky. You could be attacked, or worse, recognized. But you feel your recent fortune in the field obliges you to leave a tribute. The temple is empty. One enters alone, as is the thieves' custom. In a silence that soothes you only halfway, you pace in a slow circle, thinking. You are tired, but you won't sleep. You can't afford to stop. Your mind is already plotting the next move. What Beoul told you is crucial. Garak kept meticulous journals, jealously guarded, on his research and, likely, on his illicit dealings. If you could seize them, you might find allies interested in their contents, or at least people you could blackmail in exchange for aid. Little by little, you convince yourself this plan of yours isn't a fancy, but a hard necessity. Those journals are too important. You want your hands on them before they vanish. Time is tight. Perhaps you have only this night, and not even all of it, before the fallout from Garak's death reshuffles the deck. But you have no accomplice, nor do you know where the documents lie, an almost impossible challenge. And yet, the more you circle the altar, the more ambition wraps around you. You start sketching a route in your head, where to enter, where to search, how to slip past the watch. The plan ripens quickly, bold, unforgiving of error, but possible. You stop, breathe. You have decided, the job will be done. You spend the rest of the day in a small tavern, in the company of bread and butter and watered cider. You run through every detail of your plan again and again, etching it into yourself like an indelible trace. Nothing must be left to chance. You watch the sun creep along. You wait, taut with impatience. When the sun finally sinks, it is time. You take stock of your gear, check buckles, ropes, blades. You recite the steps of the plan one last time. You leave the tavern with a generous tip and slip into the world of shadows. You sit on a pinnacle, the highest near the palace. The moon has not yet risen, the air is cool, and a fine breeze hints at rain. It's not ideal, but you proceed anyway. With the help of a rope, in perfect silence, you land lightly on the ledge beside the oculus. The window, half ajar, opens with a low creak, and you slip in with a bound. In the gloom, you make out a servants' hall, cots, benches, lines of drying clothes, blankets strewn about. You step into the corridor. A man's hoarse voice approaches, muttering something against his masters. You melt into shadow. He does not notice you. You steal away. The first part of the plan is complete. You continue through steep stairs and narrow passages, finding your way as best you can toward the tower. You pass beyond the servants' quarters into a more appointed room. Ewers, fine fabrics, carpets. On a screen, curious garments and porcelain masks in bizarre shapes. Aside from that, the room is empty, but the smell of perfumes and incense seeps from the neighboring chambers. Beyond an arch veiled by heavy curtains, you hear murmurs. You draw near and nudge the edge of the drape. You see a large, well-lit hall, guests in elaborate costumes, animal-like, with porcelain masks on their faces. Among them, young and attractive attendants, mostly women, but some men as well, chatting amiably with the guests, ready to please. You don a mask and blend into the crowd unnoticed. In the room, numerous curtains form niches for conversation or private amusements. You walk softly, your steps folding, into the low susurrus that leaks from the curtains. You catch sight of an exit leading deeper into the palace, but a hand snags your elbow and draws you into a tented alcove. Inside, two young women, one fair, one dark, both with laughing eyes. "Now we've caught you. You're ours," they murmur, amused. "Believe me, I'd very much like that," you answer under your breath, "but I have business to attend to." The dark-haired one tips your mask down. "No, stay. We see plenty of guests, but a thief is more interesting." Your heart gives a jolt. You look closer and recognize them, the same who watched over you when you woke, days ago, in this very palace. Your nerves pull tight, your hand goes to your dagger by instinct. "No," whispers the blonde, stopping you. "We mean you no harm. Besides, that would get you exposed at once." Your hand relaxes, partly. "How did you recognize me, you ask?" "We can spot a rogue at a glance," says the dark one, brushing your cheek. "And you made an impression the first time." "Play along," says the other. "Have a little fun with us." "Oh, that is the thing. If you leave now, we'll scream, and things will go badly for you." "I have the impression you're not mere servants," you whisper. "Obviously," the blonde titters. "Let's say we're a kind of colleagues. Garak caught us stealing in his palace, but we convinced him of our usefulness, and so he kept us here as prisoners. Since then, we've stayed. If you want to escape, I can help you." They trade an ironic glance. "Escape. We can do that whenever we like. If we stay, it's because it serves our plans." As they speak, they brush against you, fingers straying with practiced mischief. You play along, but your eyes and ears stay sharp. "If you're here to steal, forget it," says the dark-haired one. "The tower's defenses are tough, there are armed guards, and the doors are reinforced." "Guards can be neutralized and doors can be picked," you murmur back. "Not these." At the tower entrance there are 3 guards. Each carries a key, and you need all 3 to open it. Each one stands at a different corner of the room, and they watch each other constantly. If one is attacked, the others raise the alarm. "We can take care of 2, but that leaves a 3rd. "The tower, then?" You'd guessed right, you think, before you answer. "Well, there are 3 of us now," you hint. "Oh," says the blonde. "Are you proposing a deal?" "Perhaps. I want Garak's documents. I take those, you take the rest. The gold, jewels, whatever there is." They trade an amused look. "Papers don't interest us. Gold, on the other hand, That does. Then we have an agreement. Perhaps, they echo. Midnight's best. Almost everyone's asleep, and the guard changes. Until then, we'd best linger here and entertain each other so as not to arouse suspicion, of course. Of course, you allow. The hours pass slow and warm, smothered in incense. Toward midnight, the hall empties. Only dim lights remain, tinted by the variated fabrics of the drapes, and a few hushed whispers here and there. Wait for us by the tower's gallery, the dark-haired one whispers. Now we're going to change. They leave hand in hand, naked and shameless, vanishing among the curtains. You slip out and reach the balustrade a short way off. You wait several minutes, too many. There's still no sign of them. Anxiety gnaws at you. Every minute counts, and you've already had to wait for midnight. This was not part of your plan. If word of Garak's death gets out, the palace will be sealed. At last they arrive, almost unrecognizable. Soft shoes, men's trousers, veils masking their faces. One dressed in white and gold, the other in black and turquoise. The cut of their clothes is that of Eastern spies and scoundrels. At the balustrade, you spy through a thin crack in the door. On the ground floor, 3 figures face the room's center, armed with spear and sword. At their necks, you catch a glint. Keys, perhaps. It's all as you said, you whisper. Obviously, they reply. We have to act in unison. A few seconds too many and it all blows up, you say. Indeed, they answer. But before we go, we want to make sure you're up to the task. Without warning, the dark-haired one springs at you. A small blade, cleverly hidden in the folds of her clothes, flicks toward your throat. At the same instant, the blonde drives a quick kick into your flank. You slip the knife by a hair. The kick doubles you and slams you against the rail. These aren't warnings, but blows meant to kill, you think. Their ability to move as one is excellent. You recover quickly and put space between you. Excellent, they laugh softly. You're a man of worth. Now we can trust you. You still don't know if you can trust them, but their skill is beyond question. The door beyond the balustrade yields quickly to your lockwork and swings open in silence. You gain a small mezzanine from which you can strike from above. Everything is ready. At the appointed moment, you cast a knife into the center of the room. It thuds into the floor. The signal. You drop onto your mark, hand over his mouth, and drive the pommel of your dagger into him again and again. He goes down heavy. He won't be shouting for a good while. At the other end, the 2 women move like a double shadow. 2 crisp strikes, then more blows, the guards collapsing with dull thumps. From where you stand, you can't tell if they're still breathing. You see only crumpled forms, and the 2 thieves bending to check them. You recover the keys. The door's lockwork is peculiar, intricate. You spend precious minutes guessing at each key's place in the proper order of turns. Anxiety eats at you. You feel time sluicing through your fingers. At last, the gears click, the doors part, and you are in. Beyond the threshold, there are no inner locks, and the room has no windows. If the door were to close, you'd be trapped, perhaps for good. You take a broad stair curling around the central pillar, leading you to the upper level. Above, the light is scant. Only the thinnest slit grants a weak blade of silver. Shelves, tables, scrolls, scattered instruments crowd the room. You find books, papers, trinkets of every sort, but of the journals, no clear trace. The 2 throw themselves at a sturdy coffer. They waste no finesse. 2 solid kicks and the lid flies. Inside, gold in abundance. Their eyes gleam. Enough to buy a manor, they whisper, laughing. They fill their sacks in a hurry, great fistfuls that chime as they fall. Even after they've taken all they can carry, the chest still has more to give. You, though it isn't your priority, take advantage and pack 2 good bags of gold. Just then, shouts and clamor from the courtyard. Torches, footsteps, cart orders drawing closer. Something has gone wrong. Perhaps Garak's death has been announced. Perhaps you left a trace. In any case, it's time to vanish. We're leaving, the two say swiftly, eyes already on the door. Do as you like. Never see you again. And they dissolve into the night. You could flee as well. The whole is satisfactory, but you haven't found what you truly came for. Then you notice a small wooden panel, almost invisible, on the room's shadowed side. You tap it with your palm. It rings hollow. Something must lie behind. In the courtyard, the guards shout nearer. You press the panel. It creaks. You have only a moment to decide. What you seek might be here. If you don't try now, you may lose it forever.